Alright, welcome to another episode of LogiCast. My name is BlankaKong. I'm joined by Mr. Esoteric, Gunner Eos, and Huddle Wolf. Today's topic is a reaction video, podcast, conversation to the Monster Hunter 20th anniversary top 20 monster ranking voting list, whatever, right? So, by the time this aired, this would have happened probably a week or two ago, but you know, we decided we just wanted to talk Monster Hunter. Right? We rarely get to talk Monster Hunter these days. We'll talk a lot of Monster Hunter probably next year when Wilds comes out, and later this year when they showcase more gameplay come summertime. But until then, we can only discuss Old Man Monster Hunter, and so this is a good opportunity to do that. So I will quickly run down the top 20 monsters as far as popularity goes. So at number 20 we got Crimson Glow Valstrax. Number 19 we got Shiguru Magala, that's the white one or the gold. Number 18 Namiel. Number 17 Brachiodos. Number 16 Safajiva. Number 15 White Fatalis. I'm not saying Old Fatalis, it is White Fatalis.
There you go.
Number 14 Mizune. Number 13 Primordial Malzeno. Number 12, Abyssal Logiacris. Number 11, Stygian Zenogre. Number 10, Elatrion. Number 9, Ruiner Nergigante. Number 8, Fatalis, normal, Black Fatalis. Number 7, Nargacuga. Number 6, Valcana. Number 5, Gormagala. Number 4, Valstrax. Number 3, Logiacris. Number 2, Nergigante Vanilla. And number 1, Zenogre. So, one thing that I think most of us will agree is I think it's kind of bullshit that the subspecies were allowed to be separated in this list. I think Zenogre, the species, should have been just one entry. Logiacris, the species, should have been one entry. Fatalis, one entry, etc. The fact that Ruiner Nergigante took up 2 spots in the top 10 is crazy to me. Because Nergigante is a cool monster. I'm cool with him being up here. I think it makes sense, but for him to eat up 2 slots, and basically, Rathalos was number 21. So these double slots ate up a spot that I feel like should have been rightfully reserved for the OG Rathalos. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So, what do you guys think of the list, and what do you think will come from this voting poll that Capcom did as far as future Monster Hunter games are concerned?
Okay. I mean, yeah, I partly agree. I think some of the most of the monsters that were on the top 20, they would deserved. I think a lot of the popularity necessarily didn't come just from their movesets, like what they can do. Obviously, their looks played a huge factor. If the monster just looked cool, that probably helped. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the subspecies being counted as a separate entity. I mean, when you actually play the game, they do act differently. Some of their moves might be like Zenogre's energy balls are still energy balls, but Stygians act differently than vanilla Zenogres. Yeah. So there is a difference, but so I think that's kind of the logic behind it. Is that well, Stygian might be a Zenogre, a subspecies of Zenogre, but it is separate enough and different enough to count as its own entity. And whether you agree or disagree, that's just going to come down to personal preference and how you see it. So my personal preference is I kind of wish they just kind of stuck everywhere if Zenogre was going to be there. I kind of wish they just had either Zenogre or Stygian, and whether between Stygian and Zenogre, whoever edged the other out would be the representative for that spot. But that's not what they did. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I agree with the list. My little pony boy was decently high, but Kieran, for those wondering, he was not that high. But I get it. I know Kieran's not the most. He
cracked the top 50. He was at number 39.
Yeah. He's, a lot of these are the cool looking dragons, and I get that. Honestly, to me, which Wolf brought up a good point. Got to keep it simple sometimes. Safajiva was up there, and Safajiva's literally just a dragon. I mean, he has like a big, raid-wide kill effect, but a lot of monsters in World had that. But he's like literally when I think of Safi Jiva, I think of a D&D dragon, like the most traditional dragon you can imagine, and he was up there. So hey, enough people voted high for him. So I'm okay with the list for the most part, but the whole subspecies thing was like, eh. And this is coming from a guy who likes Gore Magala, and both Shigaru Magala and OG Gore were on the list. So I yeah, but yeah, the list was good. I liked it. Other than that little caveat.
If if I had if I had to justify the subspecies, I would say it's because of the lore of the subspecies. It
That's
makes
a good point.
like, for instance, a Stygian Zenogre isn't just a stage that all Zenogres go through. It's a stage that a special Zenogre out of the species of Zenogres can go through. Like Stygian Zenogre, I think it's corrupted or something like that. So there is a chance, or there is a Zenogre that just unfortunately became corrupted and developed dragon element. But it's not something that is Zenogre like. It's not normal for the Zenogre species to go through. So I'm thinking that's why they considered the subspecies separate from the regular species, because those are like anomalies within the species. It's
That's a
not
good point.
the monster that can just do it. Except
Mm.
Shigaru. All Gore Magalas grow up to be Shigarus.
Right. Yeah.
Except that. But, they don't even know if Gore Magala is an Elder Dragon or a normal monster. So,
Well, I think with the Gormagalas, what happens is they're supposed to become Shigaru, but like I think if there's another one in the area, it can't fully transform into Shigaru. It becomes chaotic.
Well, I
And
know from my understand, but just because I really like Gore is my favorite monster, so I kind of went Autismo when it came to the like his backstory and lore. So the way a chaos Gormagala comes is when Gormagala is turning into a Shigaru, that process is interrupted in
yeah,
some way. So when the process is interrupted, they're caught between Shigaru and regular Gore, and
yeah.
that's chaotic Gormagala. So
And I think they're also dying during the process because I think it typically occurs when there's another Gormagala in the premise that caused the interruption to begin with, or something like that. Um,
and that he obviously wasn't up there. He's my personal favorite iteration of Gormagala, and that's a good example. Like Wolf said, that like lore separates Gore from chaotic Gore from Shigaru, but I'm pretty sure when the rankings were considered, there's a lot of different variables: looks, move sets,
Well,
armor,
Chaotic
armor
Gormagala, he made it to
aesthetics.
27, so he had a lot of votes.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, oh my god, I mean, I'd be right there with you. All three versions of Gore were up there. I mean,
well, as as far as the list goes, like it they definitely have an impressive lineup, but if the folks over at Capcom were looking at this list and they were like, "Oh, these are the monsters that we're implementing in the base game," it'll be nothing but nothing but Elder Dragons in the first iteration. Now, if this was like a dedicated list for, oh, who are the top Elder Dragons, I can see this, but like I really, although I appreciate all the monsters that were listed on this list, I don't think that the subspecies should have been included. Because eventually, for the most part, they usually come later in the games. Like Nergigante, even though he was only in one game, uh Ruina came later, and then like same thing with like who else? Stingent Zenogre. I don't think there was any iteration where Zenogre subspecies did not make it into a game. So like I don't know. I feel as though that they should have made more space and made each category as a whole. So if you're talking about Zenogre, you're talking about the subspecies, included. Um,
I gotta disagree with that. I gotta disagree. I think the subspecies is way more important than we're taking it for. I think it's because for us, we look at the game as a game. So in the end of the day, we break down these subspecies as, okay, it's just Rathalos, except he's silver with a little more moves. You go.
Well, it depends on the criteria. The thing is, I don't know what I'm looking. Is this just based off of popularity? Is this
It's a
based off
popularity
of like?
contest. This was just votes from
Okay.
whoever wanted to vote. I didn't vote because I just kind of forgot, honestly, and this is just kind of a whatever thing. I was more interested to see the results, but like my monster Rajang, he didn't make the top. I think he made top 50. I think he's like 40 or something like that. Or
Okay, then never mind, because I wasn't too sure
my
what the
thing
criteria was. Like,
I agree with both of you guys in a sense. Like, I don't like how undiverse the top 20 is. Half of the list is Elder Dragons, and then like a quarter of the list is like duplicates, like what I consider duplicates of the same monster. But you guys, both Gunner and Wolf, you mentioned the differences between the subspecies. There is pretty substantial differences between like Stygian Zinogre and Zinogre, Abyssal Lagiacrus and Lagiacrus. Um, white Fatalis and regular Fatalis. I don't know if there's a huge difference between Crimson Glow Valstrax and Valstrax. I feel like we're
There is, but
eh,
there is, but there is, but there isn't.
there is, right?
Yeah.
Sure, but not really. But sure, categorically they're different, so it's fine. I'm willing to like accept that. But yeah, this is what the community voted for. So I mean, I can't dispute what we're looking at here. It is what it is. This is what people like the most, and I'm not surprised with like the top 10. This doesn't really shock me. I think the most surprising entry in the top
Safi.
Yeah.
Safi Jiva. In the top
Jiva.
20, Safi Jiva
For
is
me,
the
it's
most
Safi.
surprising.
Yeah.
Namiel is also rather surprising.
Yeah, Namio was another one. Like, cause I said it while we were watching it. I think her armor designs, especially for females, because males get the short stick in Monster Hunter. Don't talk to me about it. Her armor designs for the female were really cool. Like it would
The
change
cape.
your hairstyle. Yeah, like in the G rank versions would change your hairstyle and it had like the glowing pulsing effect. But the monster itself, while a fun fight, I don't know. I just didn't like. I don't
But-
see it top 20 worthy.
To me, Namaya was like a basic version because she followed Teostra, Kushila's, and Lunastra's skin in terms of like body design or skeletal design. She was like a basic version of them. Like I find them to be more challenging than she was, and I didn't. It's not a memorable fight in any way, which is why which is why I'm not surprised that only one Rise monster made it to the top, and I'm not surprised if there are no Rise monsters in the top 50. But for me, she was just like she was very forgettable. Like I didn't remember she existed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think for a lot of us here, it was very, very situational where we fought a Namio. It's just like, oh, she's part of a rank up quest, or one of my guns, or one of Wolf's insect glaives, or Kong's hammers and hunting horn needed a random Namio gem, and it's like, fuck, I don't fight this chick enough, so I guess we gotta fight her. At least that's how it always was for me.
It was a fun fight. I remember having fun battles with her, because like her whole gimmick was like hydration. So like she would use water and lightning to fight you, and she would like push you
and
away
pull,
with
yeah.
the waves and stuff, and like she'd be weakened once like her body was dehydrated. I think she was memorable, but I'm just surprised to see her in the top 20. I'm not mad about it.
I think. I think she was memorable as well. I think the issue is we have a tendency of hunting with an objective. So, and what I mean by that is like if our armor piece does not need a specific part of a monster, then we typically don't fight them for the most part. And I think Namia was one of those that got left in the back burner because us as a collective
armor,
didn't really
but
need
terrible practically. Like from a practical use standpoint,
Yeah,
it was not good. Yeah, or it wasn't
like we
ideal.
did not need. Yeah, we did not need her armor whatsoever, or we. It wasn't a part that was like a necessity of any other armors or weapons we needed. So she kind of fell off the back burner, and that I think that could also be part of like swaying people from choosing certain monsters as well, because like how many people needed like just as an example, like how many people needed like an Aragon part versus like Kuv Taroth, where everybody needed its parts because that's how you elevated your weapon at that certain period of world. So yeah, I didn't really have any issues with her, but I didn't really get to fight her as often because she wasn't really needed.
World having fashion hunting also helped with her popularity because she doesn't said she doesn't have anything practical skill wise, but aesthetically speaking, you needed her parts if you were going to camouflage your armor to look like hers. And
Yeah,
fashion hunting blew up with World. So with that being said, I think that's where a lot of these monsters' popularity come from. It's the aesthetic of the monster, not necessarily the lore or even the
That
battle
could
style.
explain
Like
some of the top 50. Like Xeno'jiiva being number 43 really shocked me.
yeah, like to me, it was just more a lot of the world monsters anyway. Not a lot of them. Some of the world monsters, I think, is specifically for the ability because hunters, we're a small few who look at the game as a game. We break it down, right? Nami, certain skeletal type, chances are you're going to fight Amiel the way you would fight, say, Teostra. If you are using a blade, you know to hit the sides or the tail. If you are fighting a hammer, you know to hit the head. But you also know to avoid the face enough. Like the face is the most dangerous spot, right? Just like with any other monster. But still, we break it down like, okay, Stygian Zenogre is still Zenogre. It has its changes, but it's still Zenogre. How do you approach Zenogre? Take that, modify it, work with it. There are other people, however, who just think Zenogre is just cool because it's a wolf that flips. He uses or he has dragon power.
I'd argue that's
then other people. Right. That's what I'm saying. Most of the community. And then on top of that, to exemplify and to promote fashion hunting within the community, that pushed it even further. Because as much as I love Zenogre, his armors are never that great. That great. They can be good, but they're never that great. But they always look amazingly aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, some of his G rank armors are like some of the best looking armor in the game.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because I think like fashion hunting or like transmogging started in it was Ultimate or was it 4?
Ultimate.
Okay. I thought it was whatchamacallit Generations Ultimate.
Yeah, Generations Ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
So okay. So during that time it was Double Cross. It was in Japan, so not a lot of people had access to it. So then a lot of people wouldn't have really paid much attention to the transmog feature. And then when we were able to get access to it, we already had World by that time, and Rise was like coming. So I guess that's probably a correlation as to why the Double Cross monsters are potentially low on the list if it's from aesthetic purposes. And also you had to work to acquire that feature to begin with. Like you really need to put in work to be able to transmog.
But in World, you just had to hit a certain rank. It became unlocked. Yeah, you had to fight monsters, of course, but you became unlocked, and then from there, as long as you were willing to put in minimal effort to get minimal parts for the monster to make the cover-up armor, that's what I'm gonna call it, the cover-up armor, then you're fine. So a fight here or there, like maybe 2-3 fights with Namiel, you'll be able to transmog your armor to look like Namiel. So or to buy specific Namiel parts to aesthetically pleasing character. So it definitely is that I feel with that specific monster, it's definitely a huge part as to why she was so low on the list.
Well, so high on the list, rather, right?
High on the list, correct? High on the list.
Another thing I wanted to respond to was your claim as to the Rise monsters not making like a big dent in the top 50. You're correct. There's only 3 slots. So Primordial Malzeno at number 13, Malzeno at 38, and Scorned Magnamalo at 50. That's it. Everything else is like everything. Well, there's other things that was in Rise that happens to be in the top 50, but as far as origins are concerned, that's the only 3
Yeah.
that have made it to the top 50. Which it doesn't shock me because I think Rise had interesting designs. Like they had very unique ideas behind some of their designs, but when you compare it to the rest of like the Monster Hunter, universe, it's like it pales in comparison, in my opinion.
But could the correlation also be the fact that we had a lot of tools to work with in Monster Hunter Rise, which made them lackluster? Because some of those moves that they would have had if we were playing traditional, they probably would be more of a like interesting fight. But we was zipping all over the goddamn place. We couldn't really pay attention to what they were capable of because we had so many tools to be able to.
I can only speak for myself. So like for me, like some of the I think Rise has some cool monsters. Like Aknasam, I think is really cool. Bishatan is really cool. I like Magnamalo generally speaking. And then if we're talking Sunbreak, I liked what's his name, with the monkey with the fist.
Garangolm.
Garangolm, yeah.
And the wolf, Luna. What's his name?
Not Lunastra, excuse me. Lunagaran.
There we go.
Like
I like those 2 a lot, and Malzeno's cool too. So like that cool monsters, but I agree with you. If those monsters existed in like let's say Generations Ultimate or something like that, I think they would have been more memorable because you have less tools. But I personally can separate like whether I think a monster is cool versus easy, right? So I don't know. That's me though.
Yeah, I was thinking about the aesthetic. I was thinking more so about like because essentially, we can view the aesthetic and separate like that from the fight. But I feel like a lot of those monsters were pushovers because of the tools that we had. Like I feel like if I forgot the monster's name, but the one that makes ice blades, I feel like he would have been a really tough fight.
Cool.
Yeah, he would have been a real tough fight if we didn't have any of those wire bugs and all those tools to be able to remain versatile.
But to me, that doesn't make him less cool.
No. I'm not saying aesthetically, because aesthetically they do look cool, but
to me, I think there's a lot of people who voted and probably voted with like, which monster gave me the toughest fight. I'm gonna vote for them. And then there are other people who voted for like, well, which monster looks the coolest. And then other people voted which monster gave me the best armor. So like, I think there's different criteria of how people voted, and there's no possible way we could ever find that out. So we can only speculate. I can only speak for like me personally. I think Rise had cool designs, like the monsters themselves. Like I wouldn't mind having a statue of like Gos Harag, like icing one of his fists or whatever. Like that would look really cool. Or even like Bishatan, like throwing like mid animation throwing fruit or something like that, or doing his Psycho Crusher attack. Like those are, I would love to have figurines of those monsters, but then there are other monsters like the mermaid one, the Sanamakanth,
Somnacanth, or whatever,
and the sumo one. Like those monsters were super fucking super lame.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I like the Rise monsters is not necessarily because of I like the Rise monsters because of where they came from.
The theme.
Yeah. Rise going into Sunbreak. Malzeno being Dracula, you had Garen Golem, is his name?
Yeah, he's basically
Frankenstein's monster.
Then Luna Garan was the werewolf, a lycanthrope. And then you had the Onis, which was from base Rise. The Onis meaning Japanese demons.
Yeah.
Asarag, Aknaxum. I like that they actually the sumo one was a kappa,
Yep.
which is like a river turtle or something like that.
Mhm.
And then the cat were mermaids. That's why it used singing to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
So I like the lore behind them, but if you just was like, hey, Dev, speed run 10 amazing monsters that you can think of out of the whole franchise, I don't think that will be on that list. I don't think so.
I can tell you it's no. Like you would, if anything, you would maybe name one Rise monster. It'll probably be the wolf creature or Malzeno, one of those two. Like if we put you on the spot, we're like, all right, name your top 10 monsters right now, gun to the head. Like maybe they would make your top 10. Maybe.
And some of them will be returning, like Valstrax,
Maybe, and then the other the rest of the list would be like Nargacuga.
Chameleos.
Nah, he wouldn't go for Chameleos. It would be Kushaladora, Nargacuga, Zenogre, those monsters.
So where is the big three on that list? Where is Chameleos, Teostra,
They are.
Howda?
Chameleos is number 62, Teostra's 59,
Ushala's
and
47.
yeah. So they're pretty mid, I guess.
They're
like in the middle?
I would say mid, yeah.
Not mid is like 100. They're in the upper quarter, right? But like they're lower than I expected. Like the fact that Xenojiva beat Ushladora bothers me. Not gonna lie, that bothers me. Rajang at 57 bothers me. Lucent Nargacuga at 54 bothers me. Teostra at 59 bothers me. Chameleos at 62, I kind of get it. That's like the least popular Elder Dragon. But the fact that he got beat by Valhazak, who's up in... Where's Valhazak? He was like further up. Where did he beat Valhazak?
He better be Valhazak.
Well, keep talking.
I have to really think about that
talking
name.
Let's scroll the list.
He better be Valhazak.
Where was Shen Gowron?
The crab, the giant crab. Oh my god! I don't
Yeah.
even recall seeing his name on the
He's
list.
probably super.
Oh, 124.
That
Yeah,
sounds
I think a
wild.
lot of the big monsters got a bad rap because it was unfortunately a design, I guess a system design limitation. So a lot of those fights are very, I guess, by current standards, they'd be considered lame because it's literally just fight this dragon while he walks in a straight line, fight this giant crab while he walks in a straight line.
Valhazak is 55. So he beat Teostra and Chameleos, which is really, you know what I mean? Like, really?
The only thing I could think of is the zombie aesthetic. That's it.
I don't mind him. Like, he's fine, but really, like, really?
I mean, he was another one. His armor was never good for bow guns. His guns were never good.
His armor looked cool as shit because it was like
his armor looked cool. Which comes back to what we discussed earlier about the aesthetics maybe playing a higher role in that. Because I did rock a couple of his pieces when the glamour system became a more easily accessible thing in World.
Vespoid Queen is at 82. Vespoid Queen beats Yangaruga, beats Gameth, Silverwind Nargacuga, Lunagaron, Vespoid Queen beat Lunagaron. Let that soak in for a second.
Just like with Dodogama, I think some of those were the community memeing, and I'm going to count Vespoid Queen as part of the memeing.
So wouldn't Devil Joe be higher? Because he was like king meme when he, was announced, when he came out.
Yeah, Angry Pickle. I get that.
Oh, but he's a legitimate monster.
I can't... Right.
But
like, things like...
Dead last.
It's tied. It's a tie for 228 Steel Urgon and Desert Celtis.
Wow.
Steel Urgon. I literally forgot that was a thing.
And behind them is Iodrome at 227, Apex Azuros at 226, Aurora Summonacanth at 225. See, they're kind of late.
Hold up. Where's my boy? Where's my shark boy at,
Zamtrios, I think
man?
he's like in the hundreds.
Oh, Street Shark.
Yeah, where's my boy
Zamtrios
at?
is
81. Let's go. Okay, he's decent. Let's go.
See, and I feel bad for like a Zuros and stuff like that, because I think the game does need more small to mid tier monsters, and it's a bear. Like I think you could do more with a bear than what they did with the Zuros. I mean, I'm no monster designer. I leave it up to them, but it's just like I think you could do more with a bear. Personally, we see what Tekken does with their bears, so it's just like,
Yeah, I think they try to keep it as, this might sound a little bit crazy, but I think they try to keep it as realistic as possible based on their anatomy and what they can do.
I mean, yeah, but when you have a bear compared to like a dimension hopping dragon, you gotta embellish the bear a little bit. I think it's okay. It's maybe have him shoot a Kamehameha beam or something, or a Hadouken. I don't know.
I Go ahead, Wolf.
Supposed to be an entry level. Like that's his
job.
place. Stays in it. His lane is he's entry level. He's not supposed to be good. He's not supposed to be hard. Like all those other bird waverns. They're entry level. So they're supposed to grab the player like, yeah, I'm good, I'm great, I can keep playing this game. That's their role. And that's why they're so low on the list. The higher ones are more of like, okay, you beat Winnie the Pooh. You made it past the dinosaur, so you can fight this actual dragon now. You can fight this actual demon teleporting thing. So it's I think every monster in there, they have their tier, and they're supposed to stay in their tier. But we all know that there are some monsters that are pretty much safe, right? Like Rathalos 110.
Oh yeah.
Could have been 200. He's in the next one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Him and his boo show up too.
Apparently,
so some
Rafi
have.
was the first monster they created.
Yeah, I knew that.
She's the number one monster.
Mm.
Well, who the hell is Hypnocratrice?
That is.
I don't remember that monster.
He's a Frontier monster originally, but he was put into Freedom Unite. He was one of the first monsters you fight in G rank. He looks like his body's like Cuckoo. He looks like a what's that bird? He's like a very colorful bird, and he puts you to sleep.
I don't remember him. And Wolf and I ran through Freedom Unite.
You only fight him in like the first level of G rank, so you probably beat the crap out of him and moved on. And his armor doesn't. I don't remember his armor ever being. But him and Lavasioth were the first monsters to transition from Frontier to normal Monster Hunter, and they never revisited that again.
But Lavasioth was, I guess you can say, reincarnated or reinvented into Volvadon, right? Or whatever his name is.
Volvadon is...
Volvadon is the armadillo-looking...
He's his own thing. He was introduced in... I think he came in Portable Third. That was the first game he was in. Memory serves.
No, what?
Oh, you're probably talking about...
We're talking about Gyarados.
Yeah.
The fire version to Gyarados.
Lavasioth.
There we go.
Yeah. They reworked him because an original Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and I think he was in Freedom too.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I don't remember, but he was basically Plesioth, and then they reworked him.
Yeah.
I forget which game they reworked him. He became more viable. He was still a stupid monster, but like he became more viable, and they gave him more moves. Especially in World. World, they revamped him like crazy. They gave him a bunch of new stuff.
I think that's when they reworked them in World. Yeah.
Probably. I don't doubt it. The Monster Hunter games tend to like blur together for me after a while, so it's hard to like distinguish certain points. But like, yeah, Hypnoc. That's what I call him. Hypnoc. He was a bird waver and originally from Frontier and then put into the PSP game.
Gotcha.
You fight him in the old forest where you first encountered Nargacuga. The old forest with the giant tower in the middle. Yeah, you fight him in there. Which I think is a map from Frontier that they imported. Which
Oh, nice. Okay. So I'm kind of shocked. I'm looking down at the list, and I'm really shocked with some. Like I was expecting like Rachna Kadaki to be up there, like Nurse Cecilia. Expecting them to be a little bit higher because they don't really have much spider monsters in the game. Um, I was expecting like Bonboro to be lower. Um, the Narwhals should have been at the bottom,
Oh my
if
god,
you
where's
ask me,
Narwa?
because Nara is 153. That is way too
That's
high.
way too high for her. Ibushi
You
is down
know,
at 184. That sounds about right.
yeah.
All Mother, unless Nawa is considered All Mother still. But All Mother should be a different type of monster.
True.
Yeah, Nara, the all mother is 153.
So where's
Mhm.
regular Narwa? She was technically a different fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably as low as
Oh, she's at 210. Yep, sounds about right. Thunder Serpent Narwa 210. Get fucked. That's where you belong.
tied with Shogun Cianatar.
Terra Shogun Cianatar, which was I think the Deviant and Ultimate Generations Ultimate or Double Cross.
hmm
Which
Gotcha.
just tells me that people don't know what this is. Like, because he was hard as shit in this game.
Oh yeah.
He was
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
annoying. Very hard to fight.
The deviants were definitely a problem. Like Red Helm Azoros thought it was just going to be another punching bag, but then he really was putting in some work.
Oh, was Dread King was in that category, right?
Yes.
Red King is.
Oh
further.
man, I
He's
remember.
number 66.
I remember that day. It's like, oh, I want to make Dread King's full armor set, and we were there all fucking day.
It was a cool armor set.
That's
Though.
it.
That has nothing to do with the topic, but I need an opportunity to throw that in.
Hence why he should be higher.
It has everything to do with the topic of why this is so important.
Oh my god. Oh please.
That is a
But-
fight I would never help Esoteric with ever again.
Especially the one
goes
with
in
the
it goes-
Fango, the bull drum in the arena or in the tower. Fuck out of here. Which reminds me, where's
was
the bull
annoying.
drum?
Gotta be in like the close to 200, right?
I think so. I think he'd be higher, no? Bull drum?
I mean, he's like,
He's 116.
160. Yeah, that makes sense. Bull drum was like he's a meme monster. He's like people don't care for him, don't like him, he's whatever. But like I don't know, he's funny. So he's
like,
up there.
oh, you gave him a pat on the head. What up, Bull Drum?
Dodo Gama at 31. It's atrocious.
That's a meme. That's the
atrocious.
memes. The memes. That's 100% memes.
That
guy-
wow.
He caught mad like he was just like the cute derpy monster that everybody I say everybody in the loosest of terms liked because that's it. He was just derpy.
Yeah.
And like I mean, how many times were we fighting fucking Behemoth?
That's what I was
Fucking
gonna say.
Behemoth Extreme, and then this fucking dopey dude is just look, like I'm going this way. So come on, that's why he's up there.
He was in the cutscene. He was in Behemoth's mouth. Like, oh my god.
Devil Joe used to walk around with him in his mouth.
Yeah, he would literally use him as a club. Like,
Like he would just casually be walking in the area. He has a dodo gun.
I think it was maybe I don't remember Dodo Gama. I definitely remember Great Jaggerus being punked around by Double Joe.
Him too.
Yeah.
So
What do you how do you guys think this is going to influence the next game? I think I'll go first just to create a baseline. I think this might influence the expansion to Wilds. I could see that happen.
I see these being G rank monsters in the initial build. If so many people are going crazy, maybe
Well, the initial
maybe
game won't
half
have
of them.
G-Rank, right? If we're following tradition.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I guess the first wave, possibly the first wave, like the top 20, none of these monsters, potentially their base versions might be in the initial build for high rank, right? and then there's subspecies, whoever were listed, and the more like threat level monsters will be in the following build, will be in G rank. Like I see, there's no way in hell they're gonna have Fatalis as a introductory monster in the base build. No way. I can't see that.
He might not be in the game at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. He ended really well in World. I don't know if he's gonna make a reappearance. If he does, that would be awesome. But I don't see Alatreon being in the base. I don't see Stinjin. I don't see Abyssal at all. I
could see Stygian being in the base game.
I can't see him.
Really? I could see him in OG Zinogre.
I could see base Zinogre being in the base game, and
he will definitely be there. Yeah, 100%.
Like I see Stinjin as G rank. Brachiodos, I could see him because he was an introductory monster, like a high rank monster. So I see him being there. Safijiva, if they do bring him back, definitely G rank. Old Fatalis, definitely G rank. Mitsu, I could see him being high rank. Narga high rank. Gormagala high rank. So I see it being like, just for the top 20 alone, I can see it being spread evenly with these monsters are going to be in the base build, and then the more like higher tier monsters on the list are going to be in the update, the expansion.
What about you, Wolf? Any thoughts?
Monster Hunter Elder Dragon Edition.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of these guys making it into Wilds in the beginning. Just based off, and this is just speculation. This is my opinion. I think Wilds, they might be trying to reboot, like do a soft reboot, to their game. I think it's going to be like separate from Worlds, separate from everything else. Looks like it's going to be more like even more grounded, right? Just based off the little bit that we did see. So all these Elder Dragons aren't going to be in the game. Safijiva, Nergigante, those are like tied to World and the story of that game. Alatreon and Fatalis, I don't see them coming in. Same with Valkana. Same with Gormagala. If they're going to respect like the lore of where those monsters came from,
yeah, I was going to say it
I
depends.
don't really see them crossing over into this newer game.
Well, only
they could do arenas.
Only Nergigante I see, because Nergigante's lore is to hunt down
Elder
Dragons that are out of balance. So if Wild has an Elder Dragon that's out of balance, then Nergigante has a story, because he can go anywhere.
Depends on the story they're going with. Yeah, because Nergigante is like, he doesn't give a fuck. But the reason why Nergigante was such a big deal in World is because of the Elders crossing, and Elder Dragons in a weakened state were going there to die. So for him, it's an easy hunting ground, which is a part of his like lore, right? So maybe he could make an appearance as like a menace monster, like just I'm here to fuck everybody up. But I don't know. I feel like Devil Joe's kind of like the go-to guy for that, in a more general sense, not so much tied to like Elder Dragons. So who knows? I could be dead wrong, but
yeah, I mean they had a lot of like lore, but there has been a lot of monsters that made reappearances that should not have been in other worlds, or they might just play it safe and be like, well, there's something changing in some border of the world where these monsters are flying over here or something. So you never know. And also they can play it even more safe where some of these monsters can be in arenas, because initially Shigaru was an arena monster. Fatalis was an arena monster. So, Abyssal was underwater, but also arena. Ruin and Nergigante, I believe he was
basically an arena
like a big
monster,
area.
You only saw him in that big crater.
Yeah. So, and Safijiva,
just to be clear for those listening, by arena, you don't mean literally the arena, you mean a zone, one specific zone to fight the monster. There is no like changing them, right?
Yeah. Their own designated zone in which to fight. Or they could have a mechanic where you're able to kind of visit some other lands, kind of like Double Cross, where you was able to visit old villages and do missions there. So you never know.
My actual take on it, but jokes aside, is just more like the base monsters that we saw, like Zinogre, Narga. They may just be high rank, and then they'll introduce their variants in their remake. So even though like all of Naga's variants was not in the top 20, you may see either a new Naga variant or one of the returning ones, with him being on the high rank side to lure people in from what they voted. And then from there, it gives them the chance to introduce other things for the remake when they do it, for the full game when they release it. So I think they're just going to give us a little bit of sweets and then use that time that we are indulging on our fandom and excitement of seeing returning monsters and a new mechanic. Give them the time to create something else and introduce more new things to us.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only monsters on this top 20 that's like almost guaranteed to be in the next game is Zenogre and Nargacuga. Everybody else is a coin toss. Nargacuga
Yeah.
and Zenogre have become like the Chun-Li and
Guile.
Yeah, thank you. Of Monster Hunter. Because Ryu and
Yeah, we got our Ken and Ryu.
is
Yeah.
Ruffalo's Rathian. and Diablos to a degree, right? So those two for sure are going to be in the next game. Like I'd be shocked if either one of them wasn't in the game.
But Zenogre has been in every game since his release, right?
I think so. I think he's, with the exception of Try. Well, no, he wasn't even conceived in Try. He was conceived in Portable Third, which is
Yeah.
after Try. So,
Yeah,
I think he was in every game ever since. So,
Mhm.
and I think the same for Narga. Narga might have missed the game somewhere in there.
I think not. I don't think he was in Try.
Yeah, Narga definitely wasn't.
He did.
wasn't in Try.
He didn't come until Try Ultimate. That's when
Yeah,
he
came back and he had the Lucent variant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True, so you're correct. Did miss Try. But Try was like a hard reboot to the whole game. There were entire weapons missing from that. So
True.
Yeah.
hard to blame them. And they had to remodel everything from scratch. So, I get it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this influences, if it does at all. This could have been just something to do to celebrate the 20th anniversary, seeing that they couldn't get the game out in time. Because that was my prediction originally. I thought Monster Hunter, the next Monster Hunter game, would be available now. I thought that's what they were gunning for, but clearly they need more time, which I'm okay with. Take all the time you need, right? I just want to get a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
So I think this was just like a filler thing. I am gonna watch the 2-hour podcast where they talk about like the history of Monster Hunter. I think Zeta has shared a snippet of like some of the conversations that they were having and like how they created Narga in like a few weeks. Like they just kind of mashed them together. It was like, all right, let's make a more like a more nimble Tiger-X or Tigrex, and that's Nargacuga. Like they made that whole game or that whole expansion in like less than a year. So
Yeah, and it shows. But now Narga has become his own separate entity. They've like worked and tweaked him and adjusted his moves. Like he's his own.
Yeah.
He's his own thing now.
I mean, even then, like they fought distinctly different. Like Tigrex was the one that rushed at you. Narga rushed at you as well, but in a more
at an angle.
cunning way.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
It was at an angle.
No, but I mean, like Tigrex didn't really take much evasive actions, whereas like Narga was more like, I'm gonna jab and then dodge out the way, or things like that. They had their distinct differences where it was enough to like fight them both and get a different experience.
What were we gonna say, Wolf?
Oh yeah. I said I feel like Narga was more sophisticated, like that fight, right? But I definitely agree with SO. For Tigrex, it was all teeth. Dwelling at.
But I'm
Narga,
sorry. Go ahead, Wolf.
Narga was, I believe, he was the first monster to trip up traps. So, to see something like that.
I think Garuga was the first monster I've seen do it.
So he's the second.
Maybe I don't know. I could be wrong about. It could have been introduced later. I don't know. That's muddy.
is the
Garuga would jump into the trap and then fly back and activate the trap. He's such a cunt.
Yeah.
And then I know Rajang would also he would do something similar where he would just tap the trap with his like pounce, his back forth pounce, activate the trap, and then pounce away.
right. It was one of them,
Narga
right?
for
With
sure was
Tigrex.
one of them, yeah.
That.
But Tigrex
So-
would always fall in the trap. He's just a dumbass. He
were
attacks in a
always-
straight line.
Um,
Mhm.
so for Narga, I think that's why one of the reasons why I love that monster so much. It's just it's just that it's just a simple solution to change basically the same monster.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that, Wolf. Like that's what I love, the fact that they're able to take, they have like base skeletons of each monster, and they're able to create like varying species from it. Like, you know, they have some elder dragons that have a particular build. You have the leviathans that have a particular skeleton. You have like the pelagus, which the pelagus ones, they need a little bit more work because for the most part they're not, you know, for some reason they don't get a lot of love, i.e. Zoros, Volvidian, and stuff like that. Then you got the brute wyverns who have the same anatomy, but they all fight in different ways. Like it's kind of like they have the foundation of a house. They're all the same foundation, but then they're building different rooms, different structures, and making them look different, and having like different means of what's in a house or whatever, you know. So I like that. It's pretty cool that they're able to compile different monsters off of like just a few skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. All right. Well, anybody have any closing thoughts on the list, on the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter, anything in general?
List was awesome.
I'm just hyped for more Monster Hunter. You know, they, you know, a side note. They announced that they're gonna remaster Monster Hunter Stories. So that's cool to have on modern consoles now. Now you can have both of them on the Switch, which I'm looking forward to owning.
Yeah.
You know, Monster Hunter Wilds is shaping. Well, I mean, we only know so much, but you know, new mainline Monster Hunter seems to mimic the world formula. Because you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Rise formula. So I'm glad we're going back in that direction. Yeah, 2025 is looking to be pretty freaking hype for Monster Hunter. So, look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds as well. I'm just really hoping that they don't focus on this entire list, and like a majority of the monsters are, well, I'm hoping that they make a reappearance, but I would like for them to focus more on newer monsters that can be portrayed within Wilds and the engine, because I would love to see new species. And hopefully because, you know, I wasn't able to access Frontier, I would hope to see some monsters get used as well. But that's more of a bias. Most what I mostly want is for them to have some new, like a nice wave of new monsters. Pretty much, that's what I'm going for.
I wouldn't mind new monsters. What I would like to see is I think Wolf mentioned it before, is new variants. So like if Nargacuga and Zenogre make it into the base game, which I think they will, if this game is like in an uncharted land, right, which is basically what I'm gathering, because even the monsters that they showcased, like the herbivores and all those creatures that were in the base trailer, they look very prehistoric, like more prehistoric than past Monster Hunters or monsters in Monster Hunter game. And because this is going, again, speculation, this is going to be an uncharted territory. I hope to see like, prehistoric Nargacuga, like a hairier, bigger, more aggressive Nargacuga would be very interesting. Same thing with Zenogre. Having like the prehistoric variants would be pretty cool. Because in the Monster Hunter universe, like in the games at least, you as a hunter, you're fighting for the guilds, right? You're like employed. like there's a government organization behind you doing this, right? And so there are like certain zones that you hunt in, like, and there's like in the Monster Hunter lore, there's like poachers and like black market hunters and stuff like that, which the games don't really like talk about too much, but that exists. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see more of that, the darker side of like Monster Hunter, the less civilized or savage side of Monster Hunter, where there is no rules, like it's just there's no zones, buddy. Like this is the wilds, right? That's what I want to see, and hopefully we get
Oh, kind of like
kind of like
so there's no camps, so essentially you have to find like points to
yeah
build your own camp,
that's
survive
what
out
I think
there,
it's gonna
and
be. I think it's gonna be very survival
okay,
focused. Where you have to like build a
that would be
base and
cool.
like if you look at like the Monster Hunter World lore, where it's like the first fleet are like all these old guys, and these are the guys who like built the city that you're like shipping to. You're part of the fifth fleet, right? You're the fifth crop of people that are trying to build the civilization. There was a lot of work that went into getting it to that point, right? And so imagine what that plot of land looked like at the first fleet time period, right? Like I don't know, like that's just me fantasy booking like what that world what that world will look like and what the lore is. But I hope that they explore something similar to that in this new game, considering it's Monster Hunter Wilds, and that it seems to be the case with what we've seen so far. It's going to be very prehistoric, very gritty, very, survival of the fittest, which I'm interested in. So, I could be dead wrong. It could
awesome.
just be a regular ass Monster Hunter game, which is fine, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, with that being said, for those listening made it this far, thank you for your viewership and hope you enjoyed the conversation. Let us know down below what you thought about the Monster Hunter vote results and the top 20 specifically. I think it's a little heavy on the Elder Dragons, a little heavy on the duplicates, but that's just me. Subscribe for more content. We do podcasts every single week at Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Check out our socials. They'll be in the description down below, so you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and a Discord. Mr. Esoteric also streams on Twitch. He streams 2 to 3 times a week. He streams a variety of games. I'm sure he'll be streaming Monster Hunter Wilds when it comes out in a year, 2 years from now.
Absolutely.
So definitely give him a follow. Check him out there. And with that being said, we'll catch you in the next one.
Take it easy.